Hey everybody, I've been thinking about doing this for a bit, and I think I may have done something similar a while back, but I figured why not probably do a more updated version of it, if you will, as I make sure everything is working here. Okay, just making sure everything is working. I do apologize for the hand in front of the camera, just making sure everything's working, make sure everything's straight. There we go. But yeah, I just wanted to basically come on here and do this video. I've been thinking about doing it. Now, usually I would use my my music stand that I recently got, which I have to give a shout out to Najica for inspiring me to get. But I'm not going to do that right now because I'd have to go like this, turn it like, just I don't want to go through all that right now and all that. And if you notice my head going this way and that way, I kind of have my camera on right now, so I can kind of do this while I can, so I can piece this together and or upload this if it's in one video and have it ready for tomorrow, so that way you guys can have some content to watch tomorrow on Saturday as I make sure everything is straight here, if you will. So anyway, you probably see the title down below. I wanted to show you my DVD anime, my updated, I guess that's what it's going to be called, an updated DVD and Blu-ray anime collection, or my updated anime Blu-ray and DVD collection, along with some 4K. So it's going to be updated. It's going to be called my updated anime Blu-ray 4K DVD collection or something like that. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and give you guys a bit of an update of what I have currently in my possession as we speak. Now, I'm going to start off with something a little old school, basically, and that is, of course, one of the shows I grew up with as a kid, and that would be, of course, Voltron. Now, these were released by Anime Works. These are two of the original 5 tins that they released when the series started to get distributed on DVD as a whole. And as you can tell, they're just like that, which is pretty cool. And then after a while, they basically started to sell them like this, but they sold them without the tins and everything. So as you can see, it's like that, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, this character here, they changed the gender of him in the new one, which I think is probably a good move, honestly, because to be truthful with you, even though it was questionable that they did that, I and other people always viewed him as being in a kind of like a female, and maybe that's what the original gender was in Japan. But they may have changed it when they brought it over here to the U.S. And it's not that wasn't the first time, nor is it the last time, because apparently they still do it. Even to this day, as I straighten that out for you guys a little bit. But they still do it, even to this day, as I make sure everything is straight. Okay, just making sure. But even to this day, they do it. So that's the green line one. That's one of the original 10s. And then this one is the red lion right here. And again, just like with the orange, just like with the green one, it's just a tin steel bookcase, if you will, with the stuff in there and everything, which is really nice, really cool and everything. One thing about Anime Works is they went all out with these collections when they first released them. And I thought that was really cool. Now, Anime Works also, if I read this correctly, also listened to the fans, and they realized, well, if we're going to release Voltron as a complete series and everything, they just make sure everything is straightened out here. Just checking something. One thing about tripods, especially if you have them connected a certain way, like you have the mic connected to your camera and it has a special tripod connection to go with it, it's a little hard to see whether or not you got it straight or you don't. Like I can look right here and it'd be like, oh, is it straight? Yeah, it is straight. Just making, just got to make sure that all the details are out there, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, like I was saying, or like I was mentioning, basically Anime Works, when they released this, also listened to the fans, and they said, okay, well, you know, we can't just release Voltron, you know, as a DVD set, a complete series set, in these special tin cases and all that, without probably releasing the original version of the series. Basically, you know, how it was first seen in Japan. So what they did basically is they went out and got the okay to release, and I was very fortunate to get them. It's not the complete set, just like with that one, it's not the complete set, but I was kind of glad to get it right now. I'm still going to try to get it complete, but they decided, you know, to complement and the Voltron release, the English dub Voltron release, that, you know, they decided they were going to release, I think they did like 3-4 collections of these, of Go Lion, which was the original title of Voltron in Japan. And the biggest difference here is this is the complete series, uncut, unedited, nothing removed, and it's the original, as I just make sure everything's straight and you guys can see there. This is the original, oops, just hit the thing there, I do apologize. There we go. But this is the original version when it came out in Japan. This is the original version when it came out in Japan. You know, nothing really cut out. Like, you know, the intro for Voltron, you see all those monsters showing up in space. That's part of the first episode of Collection 1. So that's that was really neat of them to do. And another big difference, as you can tell by the rating right there, which says 13 and up, basically almost 14, TV 14. That's because the violence in this is violence you don't see, you know, anywhere else. You don't see it, you know, in the Voltron series at all. I mean, if you do, it's edited to a point that it's not really noticeable or anything. So yeah, basically the Voltron, basically the violence of the original series is edited out of the American series. But yeah, this is pretty violent. I saw a couple of episodes when I first got it, and I was just shocked. You know, I was just shocked of how, you know, violent it is. And there's a lot of websites that describe the big differences, and I think that's another reason Anime Works did what they did, because they realized, oh, people are going to look online, see that, you know, there is a major difference between the two versions, you know, so we need to kind of complement that, you know, we kind of need to address that by basically releasing the Go Lion series to go along with Voltron. Now, of course, later on, just like with any series, after it gets its original distribution, whether or not the place still has the license or they don't, Anime Works decided that for the 25th anniversary of Voltron, believe it or not, yeah, 25 years, that was like 2011, I believe. 25 years since it debuted here in the U.S., if you will. 25 years since it debuted here in the U.S. It would actually be 25 years, a couple of years prior. No, wait a minute. Actually, this came out in 83 here in the U.S., 83, 84. So yeah, about 2008, something like that. They decided to re-release the series back on the DVD, but instead of using the tins, or, you know, repurposing the tins again, they just decided to go with the complete box set. And that's what they did. They did 2 separate sets for the 25th anniversary. They did Volume 1, Part 1 as they call it, called Lion Force, and then they did Part 2. So yeah, they re-released the episodes, so that way if you didn't get them the first time, you know, with the Tin Lions and all that, this time you could get them, and you can get them a little bit more cheaper. And there's a lot of studios that, whether or not they still had the license and they wanted to redistribute something, or somebody else had the license, they would just take the already released content and say, okay, boom, we're going to do that, you know. And these are the original discs, so that's what they did. They just decided to release them in one complete set so you can get them all. I'm sure you could still get the tins if you want to get the tins and all that. So, so there's that option. But I went with these when I got them, and so I can have the complete series, because I grew up on Voltron. In fact, I remember as a kid, and I've mentioned this before, I had one of those dartboards. It wasn't a regular dartboard. It was one of those target scrolls, if you will, that you rolled and you hung up on your wall or your door, and it has the little Velcro balls, little balls with Velcro on them. I had a Voltron one of that I used to hang in my room. So yeah, I ended up basically, like I said, getting this is because I grew up on it, and I also have, when I was a kid and I reacquired it several years back, the Lion Racer. It was kind of an electronic racetrack with the yellow and red lion. So that was pretty neat to acquire, get back in the collection. Along with these. Another series that's anime-like, and I'm going to bring it over here right now, because I just thought about it just looking at it, is Mighty Orbots. And this was an anime series that, again, just like with Voltron, was brought over, but it was acquired by Ruby Spears to be dubbed in English. And of course, if there's any major differences with them, when it comes to like what was shown in the original Japanese version and not, they cut it out or they edited it down when they brought it here to the U.S. So that was kind of cool. So it was kind of cool to find out when I started. I mean, I remember Orbots. I kind of remember Orbots as a kid, but I just don't remember watching them as much. But to find out that they are an anime, it does put them in that category. Another anime that I got here is something that was sort of a collaboration between Marvel and some of the anime studios. In fact, I have one that's currently on my shelf right now, and I just didn't bring it out. I should have brought it out when I did, but that's fine. Did I bring it out? I'm not really sure if I did or not. If not, that's fine, because it's the Hulk versus Blu-ray. Hulk versus Thor, Hulk versus Wolverine. I have that. I have it on Blu-ray, as well as I have this, and this is one of the more sought-out ones, and this is more anime-wise. I mean, yeah, you could say that the Hulk versus thing is kind of anime, but not entirely, because it's, I think, done by an American studio. This one, though, is true anime, and this is, like I say, a collaboration between Marvel and Madhouse, Marvel and Madhouse. And this is the anime series of XMen, and this was actually for a time shown on Cartoon Network. This was before Disney acquired Marvel, if you will. So they were able to, license out, distributing rights or animation rights to anybody they wanted. And this anime, I'm going to tell you, when you watch it, looks really good. And you could definitely tell that they were able to take advantage of, it being anime, because it is a little bit more violent and a little bit more language-wise. I adjust the camera there. I do apologize. I'm trying to straighten the camera out here, so there we go. But like I said, it was a little bit more, violent than the typical X-Men one. X-Men animated series you're used to seeing, on television. So when this got announced, everybody was like hyped for it, because they're like, oh cool, Marvel anime, you can't go wrong, right? So I ended up getting it on DVD. I think it's on Blu-ray. I have to find that. So I got to get the Wolverine one as well that they did. Another anime that I have, and I have it here somewhere. I have to organize these a little bit. I have to organize these as best I could. But this was actually my first anime series that I got a complete series of. And as I check the camera and everything again, okay, everything's straight. Just making sure, like I mentioned earlier, it's a little tricky when you have a tripod, you have your camera connected to a mic that has a tripod accessory connected to it. You know, so you can put both on at the same time. You know, it's a little tricky. But like I said, this is an anime that I got from, believe it or not, from Hastings. Yeah, you know, we're bringing Hastings back into the fold, because like I said about, you know, XPW, when I got, you know, the VHS there, and that was one of the ways I found out about them for the first time. Going to Hastings, they sold a lot of anime, and not just regular anime. They sold anime of all kinds. You know, regular anime and adult anime. You know, and the anime that was very, you know, suggestive and like didn't have much to hide, if you know what I mean. And this one here is kind of falls in that category. And I remember I asked Vega in PO unboxing that her and Linkara did one year about it, and she's like, nah, you know, I don't care. Basically, it's like she didn't really care for it, if you will. So, you know, I thought, okay, you know, that's her opinion. You know, she's a bit of an expert. She's kind of an expert on anime, you know, if you will. So I guess from her opinion, you know, this didn't really suit her fancy, but I remember watching it. I watched it with my dad when I first got it. He thought it was okay. But it's basically the complete three volume set of Najica Blitz Tactics. That's right, Najica Blitz Tactics. And I'll tell you, I saw all three of these, and this is a good, and you know, I know Vega has her opinions, like I said, but to me, I thought this was good. Yes, it is. It does have, believe it or not, a 17 rating on it. So, you know, you got to be aware of that. And there you go there. And if you're wondering, you know, why is one white and why the other is black? Basically, I ended up using the original white covers, I think, for was these the original white covers or the original ones? I can't remember, but I do remember they all had white, and I remember using two of the white covers to send DVDs to Zeranizarak in. So that's basically, so Zeranizarak's wondering where those came from. It came from these, but yeah, this is actually a pretty neat series. I mean, it's one of those series that obviously you could, when you watch it, you can kind of tell by some of the tone that is, you know, leans very lightly, not heavily, but lightly into the LGBTQ category. But that it's unique in its own right. It's unique in its own right, because, you know, at that time, this kind of stuff really wasn't, you know, noticed as much. I mean, it was out there in the hentai category, if you will, but not in regular like 17 plus material. But you could tell there was obviously a LGBTQ lesbian suggestiveness in there, especially with the way that the girls, the fellow, you know, police officers, detectives would be admired by Najica herself. And Najica is basically kind of like a 007, you know, kind of character. You know, she's a spy, and you could tell just by the outfits she would wear, you know, in the episodes. You know, that's you know what her job title is. So it's pretty cool. Both, you know, all three of these run for a total of, let me see, they run for a total, it's 4 episodes, so volume 1 here runs for about 100 minutes, I think. Yeah, it's 100 minutes for volume 1 here, if you want to check that out. Volume 2 is about the same way, it's 100 minutes, and, you know, there you go. I'm kind of surprised that Bennett the Sage hasn't really talked about this one either on Anime Abandoned, because I think it'd be a great series to look into, but, you know, there's that one. And then, of course, here's Volume 3, which is in the original case. So there you go. And everything. So, yeah, it's a neat series. And, like I said, it's one of the few true animes. I mean, yeah, Voltron, Go Lion is anime and all that. I'm not denying that. So is Mighty Orbots. But from a legit anime, you know, gets brought over but is dubbed and released as only a direct-to-video series, you know, for me, this is my first true complete series from an anime perspective, and I highly recommend checking it out. I think people will really enjoy. For any of you out there, I think you guys will really enjoy Najica Blitz Tactics. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Now, the other one I have here is another DVD set. This one is a series I got when I was out here. I got this through Amazon. And this is the complete collection, complete series I guess, I believe. Complete collection of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. So this is the complete collection of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. You know, obviously I'm a big fan of Ghost in the Shell. Really love the series, the movie series, and you know, things that follow. Who doesn't? Obviously, when you find out through, you know, a lot of documentaries that it helped influence the Wachowski brothers, the Wachowski family, to basically do The Matrix, then obviously you have to check it out if you've never checked it out. And this is a pretty good set. Like I said, no, actually I got this when I used to work at Walmart. I saw this for sale at Walmart, and that's how I got it, for $20, which isn't bad. So really nice to have it. It's 13 and up, just like, you know, they have the rating for Go Lion. So, you know, if you're 13 and up, you can watch it, you know, because again, it's got, like Najica, it's got some suggestiveness in there. Like, I think it's in this series, there's an episode that's on here where, I think it's the brother, you know, he asked her, I think it's the brother, I don't know if the character's a brother or a sister, but, you know, but they ask the major, you know, as a, you know, when there's what is synthetic or synthetic, if you will, if they could have sex, and the major just turns around and says, "You want to find out?" Like, she's willing to be like, okay, you know, she's curious, or he or she's curious. Okay, let's see if they want to find out. Let's, you know, see if they want to do it, you know, kind of deal, which is surprising, but overall, that kind of, and that was documented in something I'm going to show you in a moment, but I thought, hey, it's kind of cool that, you know, but I thought, hey, it's kind of cool that they have a series out, so might as well, you know, check it out, make it part of the collection, and, you know, that's what I did, if you will. You know, that's what I did, if you will. So, yeah, if you don't have this yet, try to get this on DVD. If not, try to get it on Blu-ray. I think you'll enjoy it. All right. Take the time here. I do apologize. Getting in 20 mode. I'll make sure everything's good. Yeah, everything's good. Okay, so we're gonna get into some DVDs, and not DVDs, but some Blu-rays here now. Get them over here while I can. So one of the first Blu-rays, I got some Blu-rays here. We're gonna check this out. And one of the first Blu-rays I got is the Invincible Iron Man. This was a collaboration, I think, with Madhouse and Lion Gates and Marvel. Again, this was before Disney bought, you know, Marvel and everything. So they did another collaboration from an anime perspective. Now you might say it's not totally anime, but it kind of is anime when you think about it. I've seen some clips of it and I've watched it a little bit. It is kind of anime based, so it's got a little bit of anime in there. So I ended up buying that, and everybody was highly touting this anyway as something that, you know, you have to watch. As I straighten the camera out here. There we go. Sorry about that. But like I said, this is something they were touting as something you should watch. And again, like I said, some people might say it doesn't really have anime in it. It's just regular animation, but you can tell the style is anime based. And there is a bit of anime, you know, inspiration, influence in it, just like with Hulk and Thor, but more so than Hulk and Thor, Hulk Wolverine, if you will. you can definitely tell that this has a strong anime flavor to it. So really happy to have this. And again, people are highly touting it as something you need to watch, especially if you're watching like the first Iron Man movie that came out at the time they released this. And then of course the other one is Avengers Confidential, Black Widow and Punisher. This was also a Madhouse Marvel release to tie in with not just Iron Man but with X-Men and Wolverine and all that. And again, this is definitely anime based, you can tell just by the way it's designed and everything. So it's really neat to see and everything. And then of course you have the DVD and you have the Blu-ray, which is really nice. And then of course you see the animes down there that they're telling you about, like, okay, you have Iron Man Rise of Technovore and the Iron Man animated series along with the X-Men series, which again people were talking about. And again, these were all collaborations along with this, you know, with Madhouse. And you know, again, this is before Disney bought, you know, the Marvel Studios, before they bought them, that these were being distributed. So you can still find this and everything, and I do check it out, especially if you want to see, you know, Black Widow and Punisher within the anime style. I suggest checking it out. I really do. Alright, next up here we have an anime that was talked about a lot, and one that a lot of people felt should be seen, and they said it was on par with Studio Ghibli, you know, films, on par with Studio Ghibli films, if you will, as I check something here for a second. And that is of course In the Corner of the World. This is an anime that was, I think, nominated for a Best Picture. And yeah, it's actually pretty good. The one thing about, you know, collecting and buying a lot of movies and stuff, whether they're Blu-rays or DVDs or whatever, to quote Zara Nijrak, it takes a while if you have a collective taste to really get through all these. So I've tried to see this a little bit, but I'm gonna definitely check it out when I get a chance to do so. But yeah, In this Corner of the World is highly touted as being something people need to watch. Then we have an anime classic. We have Osamu Tezuka's Metropolis. This is his take on the classic 1920s silent film. And I haven't watched it yet, but I plan to do so. And when I saw that my job at the time, when I was working there, had this, you know, out, when I saw that this was released, I was like, oh, I gotta get this. I gotta get it, and I did. So yeah, this is, pretty much, like I said, his take on the on the classic, 1920s film itself. And it was distributed, believe it or not, which is why you don't see much on there, why it feels like it's very bare bones. It was distributed by, as I make sure nothing came loose there, it was distributed on home video by Mill Creek, and theatrically it was distributed by TriStar Pictures. So yeah, Mill Creek distributed it on Blu-ray and DVD, which explains why it's bare bones, but it was TriStar Pictures that released it in theaters for a time when they showed it. But yeah, it definitely has that Tezuka style to it. And if you know anything about Osamu Tezuka, is that sometimes with his movies or his shows, there's going to be some weirdness, shape-shifting stuff in there. So, this is probably going to have something like that to it. Again, I haven't, really checked it out as much as I should, but I will. And then, of course, one that was highly touted. In fact, this was released in theaters, and and this is another one that I asked Vega about in that same PO unboxing that I asked her about Najica. And she said, "Oh, definitely, highly recommend. You have to check it out." And that is Paprika. And the story about this one is she's kind of like a psychiatrist, doctor, who uses like a dream device or some kind of dream thing to enter other people's dreams or even go into her own dreams, but not as herself, but as her alter ego Paprika, which is more of a free-spirited version of the Doctor. More of, yeah, basically more free-spirited, more of a seductress, if you will, or more, flirtatious. And basically, you know, in the dream world, she can shapeshift into anybody she wants. So yeah, it's kind of a unique kind of film. It's from the same. It's from Satoshi Kon, the director of Perfect Blue and Tokyo Godfather. So it would basically explain, it's a similar situation of, little, some WTF-ness, if you will. So yeah, it's definitely something to look into. And I have seen a little bit of it, and I can definitely see that. Oh, another thing I do have, and I didn't bring it out with me. I'm not going to get it out of the closet right now, but I do have Revolutionary Girl Utena, the movie. The way I have it is, and I think I've explained this before, I burned it onto a DVD through DVD Fab 6 when I rented the DVD, and now I have it. So now I have it. It's in the closet somewhere. So it's in here. It's either in the closet or it's around here somewhere, but I'm not going to dig it out. Or might be even in the ottoman right here where the Blu-rays and stuff are on, but I'm not going to dig it out. But if you do want to see it, it is on Retro Crush right now, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, I do have that, and I do recommend, if you haven't seen it, if you can try to get Retro Crush through your Ruko, check it out there. Alright, so let's get into some of the Blu-rays. And one of the Blu-rays I have here is, of course, one that I watched many times over. I remember watching the original edited version, and then when I heard there was an uncut version, I ended up watching that through DVD. I ended up recording the unedited version off the DVD onto another DVD along with Alpha. And then, of course, I got the Street Fighter 4 movie to tie in with the game there. But, of course, when I heard that this was coming out on Blu-ray for the first time, completely uncut in high definition for the first time ever, I knew I had to get it. And it is Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, collector's edition. This is basically the uncut version as it was meant to be seen. No filler, no nothing like that. It's the original Street Fighter movie, or Street Fighter 2 movie, as it was meant to be seen, uncut, unfiltered, uncensored, if you will, which includes, of course, the Chun-Li, the unedited, uncut Chun-Li shower scene before she gets attacked by Vega. And I think you can find this also on Retro Crush and Netflix, I believe. They got the uncut version, I think. So definitely check out the uncut version, not the edited, but the uncut version, to really, get a better scope of what the movie is about. But the movie's good. It is a lot more. The unedited version is a lot more violent, not just risque wise in certain ways, but a lot more violent. And it is worth watching, especially if you're into a soundtrack of alternative rock and heavy metal and all that. This one, here's another one I got. This is Miss Hokusha, or Hakusa, Miss Hakusa. This is from the studio behind Ghost in the Shell, and you can kind of tell that by some of the scenes in there. You can tell that by some of the scenes. Because there's one scene where, and that was just my dog. She's waking up right now. She's fine. She's got allergies. But there was one scene in there where it's not this girl, but it's another girl whose spirit comes out of her body when she's sleeping, floats around, owned, and this girl, along with two of her friends, I think, a parent or father or friends or somebody, are there watching this, and then they see the spirit just press the face out on the bedroom screen, because because basically when she's sleeping, it's kind of like screened up a little bit, so it presses its face out, kind of in a visage imprint, and kind of like really just freaks them out, like, oh my god, and everything. But yeah, this has actually been touted to be very good as well. It's PG-13, I think. Yeah, it's PG-13. It was distributed in theaters by Universal, and on DVD and Blu-ray by G Kids. So yeah, and like I said, I've seen some of it, and you can definitely tell it has a little bit of that Ghost in the Shell influence to it. Based on certain scenes and elements and all that. And of course, I got this one because I'd seen some footage of it. Some people were telling me that this is something you need to check out because of course there's a series, so you want to find out where the series began, and that is of course Space Adventure Cobra. This is the original, as it's touted right here, the original animated feature film, and it looks really good. The animation, even for back at the time this came out, looks good, from an anime perspective. And if you're into space adventure like animes, this is one to go with. It really is. Alright, so next up here, we have something that was given to me by Frank Hill. It's Frank. And that is, of course, Sonic X on Blu-ray, the complete series on Blu-ray, distributed by Discotech as part of their SD on BD division. And it's 78 episodes, standard definition 2 Blu-ray disc. And what's interesting about this may not be the only Sonic we get on Blu-ray from Discotech, because of course, as I've talked about here on the channel, there's been rumors going around that Discotech may be getting the distributing license for Adventures and possibly even Sonic SatAM and Underground to give the same treatment to them that they did Sonic X. And if they do, I can guarantee you those are going to sell in a big way. But yeah, he gave me this, and what I like about it, as I've talked about before and others have talked about before, is you get all 78 episodes, but you get them as it's promoted on 2 discs with nothing lost whatsoever. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, the first disc actually has the first 2 seasons, and there's like the second disc has the last season, so it's really neat that they did that. Another anime I have here is one that I got. In fact, it was one of the first Blu-rays I got, and that is, of course, is Appleseed Alpha. This is a CGI anime. The other Appleseed movies have been, 2D anime, but this is the first like hybrid CGI one. And I don't know what it is about the Appleseed movies. I think it's the fact that there's just something to them that I haven't really watched them as much because, of course, I'm working and I got other things to do at times. But there's just something about it that really, it really, intrigues me to see exactly what it's all about and why it's been going on for so long and what's made it so popular among, a lot of people. So, I can't wait to, when I get a chance to finish watching this, I'll watch a little bit more of it. Then next up I have Fantasy VII Advent Children, the complete edition. I actually have this on DVD again. I recorded it off one DVD into another. And now I got the official Blu-ray. This is the complete edition. Basically meant to be the way it was originally supposed to be. And yeah, it looks, and I'll tell you this, when I first saw it, when it first came out, it looked really good, and I highly recommend watching this if you have not seen this movie yet. I highly recommend watching it. Then up next we have Kingsglave, Final Fantasy, 15? Yeah, 15. Angry Joe did a review on this, and he does recommend checking it out. It's one of those animes that basically and I'll talk about this in a moment, but it basically falls in that category of being motion capture anime. It's motion capture anime just by the way it's presented, because it feels like it's a live action movie, but it's actually motion capture what it is. So yeah, it's Angry Joe did a review on this. I'll try to link that as well, probably at the end here. But he said it was good. He thought he liked it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out when I get a chance. And I know you're thinking, I got all this, why haven't I had the time? Again, like I said, I've been working and stuff, so it's a little hard to do, if you know what I mean. As I check things here, okay, just making sure. And then, of course, the other one I have, based on Final Fantasy, is the one that got a big theatrical release. And that is, of course, The Spirits Within. I did see this in theaters. I thought it was really good. I know some people have crapped on it when it came out, but I thought it was alright. And was really happy to see it when I did, because, hey, it's Final Fantasy. You have to see it. You have to... I mean, I'll put it this way. Anything that had Final Fantasy's name on it, you had to see it. And when I saw this, I thought it was... I thought it was good. I thought it was really good on the big screen. So, I was really glad to get it on Blu-ray finally when I saw it was released. Next up, I have the complete series of Speed Racer. That's right. And I have to give a shout out to Zara Nizarak, because when he told me he got this, I was like, wait a minute. Speed Racer's on Blu-ray? Yeah, it is. And it's got the TV PG rating on it. It's basically been released originally as it's meant to be seen. It's distributed by Funimation. And yeah, it's the complete series. In fact, it's released basically as you saw it. I think they may have remastered it a little bit, but not much. But just, really glad to have it in the collection and stuff. So, and I remember watching Speed Racer as a kid on, believe it or not, Coffee, KOFY 20, in the Bay Area before they switched over to being an all Asian network. And that legitimately happened. And I say that with no disrespect, with no disrespect, no offense. No disrespect, with all due respect, no disrespect, no offense. I say that, but that's true. The other thing I got, and I got that for my job, I also got this for my job. This was being touted when it came out. This is Evangelical 3.33. You cannot redo edition. It says experience a new chapter in the rebuild of a legend. And this actually is one of those sets that you look at it, basically it's kind of got like a, I don't know if I would say a velvety texture to it or something. But it's got the Blu-ray, of course, and then of course to go with it, it's got an art booklet as well as to who the characters are and everything and what to experience. The first time, I'll be honest with you, the first time I dealt with Evangelical, it was basically the Neo Genesis one, the movie that was really like just screwed up, where you had, I think it was this character, you had Rey here, basically allow herself to be absorbed and be merged with basically this creature which became, which basically became her, and it was just crazy. It was like, what the heck is going on here kind of deal, because all these creatures that were connected to it would all start, developing, would all start having her, they would all start developing her face, or having her face on them, so it's like she was everywhere. And this here is a great art book to kind of show you what, what is involved in it. So I like when the animes and other shows or other places do that. And of course, like we got the anime, the Blu-ray, if you will. So it's really cool. Like I said, I saw that, and I do have it on my computer. I just haven't put it onto DVD yet. And I probably have to do that really soon. So, but yeah, if you haven't seen anything that's Evangelical yet, I definitely recommend checking it out. And check out that one I just mentioned, the Neo Genesis one, the one that's really like just screwed up, if you will. And you'll kind of see exactly why they always give these the subtitles of "you cannot redo" or "you can redo" and stuff like that. And it's funny I talk about this because Amazon is going to be distributing, on Prime Video, as well as possibly for a limited time in theaters, the final evangelical movie to go along with this. Alright, next one I have up here is Mind Game. I remember hearing about this, and the way I heard about this was somebody had put a screenshot, I wouldn't say screenshot, but they had put a clip up of two of the characters. It was this character, it was this guy and this girl, having intimacy on a train or wherever they were, and things were just getting wild and crazy. It's like all of a sudden the girl sprouted wings and a tail that she attached to the guy, and it was like what the heck is going on here deal. And yeah, it's one of those movies that's kind of like a mind effer, if you know what I mean. It's a mind effer. And it's from the visionary director Masakura Yukosura. I can't really pronounce the name, I do apologize, but it's right there on top if you want to see that. But yeah, it's one of those films that, even though it's touted as one of the best ever made, it is a complete mind effer when you get down to it. It really is. But it's the kind that you can't keep your eyes off of, I'll tell you that. Next up here we have One Piece film Gold. We have this is another film in the One Piece, basically in the One Piece, what's the word I'm looking for? It's another film in the One Piece booklet, if you will, or directory of films. Of course, we all know that they tried to bring One Piece out to 4Kids at one time, the Fox Box, and that just did not work out. Because, because by the time they were doing it, even back then, fans were, through the internet were already like, hey, this isn't the One Piece we know. It's completely butchered. And here's the thing, Fox WB, they had this mindset of, hey, we can do anything we want to these animes, nobody's going to know anything. Well, guess what? Nowadays people do. Or even back then they did. And this is obviously uncut because it's got the TV-14 rating on it. Got a slipcover. Like I said, it's One Piece Gold. I tried to do the Funimation code. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, it's pretty nice to have. And, once in a while you can get something that, is appealing, and that's what I've done. Oh, another thing I want to tell you about too, and I didn't bring it out, and I should, but let's tell you about it right now. And I think I've shown you it. I have Naruto, The Last Battle, The Last Stand kind of movie. Basically it's called Naruto, The Last Fight, The Last Stand. I do have that. I bought that, so I do have that, just to let you guys know. Alright, the next one we have here, from a Blu-ray perspective, is Satellite Girl and Milk Cow. I mean, honestly, the title alone got me to buy this. I looked at that title, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And it is just, the story is just, they say it's sweet and charming, but it's one of those stories that, if the title don't get you interested to watch, the synopsis for the story will. So, yeah, it's one of those films that you're like, huh? What? So yeah, it's in that category, if you catch my drift. Next up here we have, of course, a classic from Hayao Miyazaki. We have Spirited Away. That's right, we have Spirited Away. I wanted to try to get this when Studio Ghibli was dealing with Disney, but maybe it's a good thing I did it, because a lot of people say that since they've gone the G-Kids route, the movies are being released and distributed the way they're meant to be. And of course we get a nice booklet with it. And there you go. And then of course it gives you an advertisement of all the other Studio Ghibli films that are being distributed by G Kids. Some of them I do have, and some of them you will see in a moment as well. So that's pretty cool. And there it goes. Didn't want that to happen. And of course we have the booklet for Spirited Away. It's one of those animes that even if you're not an anime buff, you have to really, check out. I don't know what that was. I think that my mom maybe just had a sneeze or something, or the TV got loud or something. But yeah, it's one of those, like I said, one of those that you gotta have to see even if you're not an anime buff. Then up next here we have Cowboy Bebop, the complete series. And I was trying to get this for the longest time because I remember living on my own and I would be up late sometimes, even if I worked the next day, but I didn't have to work till like 2 or something, depending on what my job was. And I think it was basically when I was working at the Walmart in Lawrence, Kansas, or whatever. Or if I didn't have to come in till later at Burger King or something, or Food for Less. I remember staying up and watching just to relax myself. I remember watching, a Cartoon Network, and of course they have Toonami, which they still do today. And one of the shows they would show on Toonami was, of course, Cowboy Bebop. And I remember watching episodes of this, and I was like, oh, this is good. This is really good. And I remember recording some of those episodes onto DVD. And when I saw that they had released this on Blu-ray, I was like, I gotta get this on Blu-ray. And I did. I did. It took me a while, but I finally did get the Blu-ray. And I know people are not happy about the Netflix one. I think Netflix is gonna have to really just, swallow the pride eventually and be like, okay, maybe we do need to, change things up a little bit and stay true to what made the series what it is. But yeah, it's, I don't think I can say any more than what people have already said about it. And then of course, can't do Cowboy Bebop the series without the movie. And I saw this movie not in theaters, but I remember getting it on DVD and recording it onto DVD. And I watched it and I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely a good complimentary piece to this series. Really, really good. And I loved it. I love it. But, you can't get any better, when it comes to, movie, adaptations, of series, anime or not, than this, in my opinion. And I loved it. I really loved watching it, and I don't think I can say any more than that, because I think everybody else loved it when it came out. Then, of course, had to get a few of these when they went under the Disney license. This is Studio Ghibli's Princess Mononoke. And, I watched this film. I really enjoyed it. This obviously is not the complete version. I mean, it is mostly complete, but I think people have said that movies like this are basically, and I don't know what happened there. But, they say that, movies like this is, now that they're being distributed through G Kids, are being distributed, like I mentioned, as the way they should be seen. And I really, really like it. I really do. And I know I say that a lot here, but I did really like this when it came out because it was actually pretty good. It was actually pretty good when it was released. And like Cowboy Bebop, I became such a fan of it that basically, if you look in the background here, I don't know if you can really see it, you know, in the background. I'm gonna turn this real quickly, guys. But if you could see right there in the background where I'm pointing, right there, that's a Princess Mononoke picture that somebody had painted. They had drawn and painted, and I had bought. As I try to straighten things out here for a second, guys, that they had painted and that I had bought, basically at the Apricot Fiesta. There we go. At the Apricot Fiesta several years ago, and I finally was able to put it in a frame and everything after I've had it for a while. So yeah, really loved it. Really loved the film. Really did. And again, it shows you how much of an impact it had on me because I ended up buying a Mononoke picture. Then of course this one I got is Polka. Fantastic tale of survival. And Polka, it's got a PG rating because the main characters, of course, are shape-shifting raccoons who can shape-shift themselves into humans, animals, whatever they desire. So it's a cute little film. It's got violence in it, of course, and I'm sure the G-Kids version is probably going to carry a PG-13, but this one is PG, and yeah, I'd really recommend checking this out, especially if you like the kind of fantasy world of shape-shifting and all that. It's pretty nice. Then, of course, I got this. I don't got the other ones yet. I still got to get them. I have Digimon Adventure Tray Reunion. This is the first of three, I think 3 or 4 Digimon movies that they made in time for the anniversary. So it's pretty nice that they did that. And who doesn't love Digimon? Honestly, who does not love Digimon? So it's really cool that they did all this for the Digimon series. Yeah, can't say any more than that. But again, I'm going to try to get the other Digimon Adventure Tray movies on Blu-ray very soon when I get the opportunity. Then, of course, I got one of the more anticipated movies based on this series. I got Dragon Ball Resurrection F, which was seen in theaters for a short time thanks to Fathom Events. This is one that Angry Joe did a review on, said he did like it. You know, which obviously coming from him is a big deal. And it comes with a little card for the Dragon Ball, one of the Dragon Ball games that they were doing. Of course, you got the DVD and you got the Blu-ray. And yeah, I've always liked Dragon Ball Z. I think the reason I haven't watched it as much is because I'm always reminded of the opening, as well as I think I saw one episode where it was a young Goku, or at least one of the young Gokus, that turned into a freaking scary gorilla. It's like all of a sudden he just turns into this thing. You're like, oh my god, you know, it just blows you. It just like really surprises you if you if you kind of see what I'm saying. But yeah, I ended up getting that. As well as I got this, and this is I got during a Black Friday sale, of course, because it's got the promo on there. And that is Dragon Ball Z Broly. Broly. Basically, to return this character. And people were saying that this was good too. It's got over 45 minutes more, 45 minutes worth of extras. So, yeah, I ended up getting this when I did. Both of them have a PG rating. I don't know why they do. They think these would have PG-13, you know, which they should, in my opinion. But yeah, there you have the Blu-ray and you have the DVD, and you have the Blu-ray and you have the DVD. So. So I'm tired. You know, that's late. I'm tired. But yeah, I really like this, and I'm just glad to have it. And I'm glad to have gotten it when I did. You know, during Black Friday. So that's like 2 Dragon Ball Z movies that people have said, you know, you have to check out because they, you know, they're good. Then of course, got this. This is the 25th anniversary edition of Ghost in the Shell, the movie that helped inspire the Wachowski brothers. You know, that's what, like I mentioned when I was showing you the standalone complex series completed collection that I have. And of course it comes with a booklet and the Blu-ray. And it basically tells you the story of how, you know, this came about and everything. So can't really show you much of the imagery because I don't want to get in trouble, if you know what I mean. But, you know, stuff like that. You know, so it's pretty cool to get my hands on. I think I may have got this at my old job. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I was just happy to finally get. I was just happy to get it. You know, to add it to the collection because it's one of those movies that you just gotta sit back and enjoy when you get a chance. So yeah, 25th anniversary edition, really nice. And then speaking of Ghost in the Shell, I ended up getting the new movie as well, which was basically, I guess, you know, in the same continuity and everything, but it, you know, I think the story is that something is going on or something, she has to figure out what's happening. So it's not really cool that they're trying to continue it. And of course, you know, you got the DVD, you got the Blu-ray, so really like it. Really like what they do here, and I think this is on Netflix as well. But I'm happy to have it on Blu-ray. So, yeah. Then of course, I ended up getting these. I'm gonna pull them all out at once. This is, of course, Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie, which came out in 2004, and I saw it in theaters. So I was happy to do that. The Blu-ray was released by Flatron Films and Cinedum Entertainment. You think Warner Brothers would be the ones to do it, but since they distributed it in theaters, but I guess because it's by Konami that the distributing license expired for Warner Brothers. Then of course I ended up getting Bonds Beyond Time, which I sent a copy of to Linkara in a PO unboxing. And it's really good. You have to check that out if you haven't seen it yet. You have to check that out. And then of course the one that really got touted a lot, kind of like the sequel and the proper conclusion to the entire series, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions. And like I said, it's touted as sort of a sequel to the series, a close-up of the series. And of course it comes with a card, which I did open, and it is the, what card is this? This is Obolus the Tormentor. Yeah. Obolus the Tormentor it came with, so that was really cool. Even though I have like 1 or 2 already, this is more of a, I guess, one that they wanted to bring out. And it's just the Blu-ray, of course. But I was really glad to get that. So I have all 3 Yu-Gi-Oh! Movies that have been released so far. And if they ever do more, of course I'm going to get it as well. I'm going to look forward to those as well. So probably got that. That's really nice. Then of course I ended up getting this one. One that basically I wanted to see just by the fact that they were touting it as being really weird, and that it was from the world of Masaka Yusura, director of the Tatara Galaxy, Mind Game, and Liu Over the Wall, I think. And that is, of course, The Night is Short, Walk On Girl. That's right, The Night is Short, Walk On Girl. And I finally wanted to, and I've been wanting to get it, and I finally did, and here it is. So basically, this guy that did Mind Game apparently is trying to be like the new Hayao Miyazaki, or the new Tetsuka, if you will. Gives it the fact that his animes have a little bit of unusualness and visualness, to get people talking and to watch the films. Then of course I got this because this was a collaboration of anime and Warner Brothers, and that is the Batman Ninja. And I watched some of this. I thought this was really good. I watched some of it, I should say, and I thought it was really good. I haven't watched all of it yet, but the anime style, I'm telling you, it meshes really good with Batman storytelling. And they're actually going back to this, believe it or not, for Catwoman Hunted. So that's going to be something visually to look into. And then, of course, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is an anime movie collection, 2-disc thing that I did. I think, when did I do this? I think I may have marked the dates, or did I? I'm not really sure. I don't think I did. But this is something that I did back when I lived in Patterson. It's an anime movie collection, if you will. And on the back, we have the stuff that I have on the 2 discs. You can read that if you want to. Right there. And then of course the 2 discs that I have to go along with it. And then, like I said, just read the back, and you kind of see exactly, what I have on there. It's really cool, and I call it the Anime Movie Collection 2-disc deal. And then next up, I got these recently. I was looking and wondering about it because I think I had heard that it got released, and I was surprised Best Buy didn't have it. Especially since Best Buy is so enamored by steelbooks and everything. I was surprised they didn't have it, but I ended up getting from Amazon a special edition 4K of AKIRA. That's right, I got AKIRA finally. I was always wanting to get AKIRA, but I just could never figure out, how to get it, or whether it was going to cost too much, because of the Blu-ray. But when I heard that when I tried figuring out, but when I typed in, I should say, it being typed in, if you will, the 4K for it, if you will, basically the name along with 4K. That's when this came up on there, in the search bar. And yeah, here we go. And it comes with a nice little booklet, kind of like tells you the story of how AKIRA came to be. And then of course, have the 4K. That's right, I have the 4K. So you have the 4K on the front, the Blu-ray, and then, believe it or not, this isn't a DVD. This is a digital copy that you have to put into your computer and use that way to get it as a download. Yeah, Funimation, they have yet to go the route of, just direct, digitalness, if you will, with the codes, and they're deciding, hey, we're still going to go with the physical digital copy deal. So, let me turn that around. Did I do it like this? No, that's the wrong way. Yeah, but yeah, nice to have the booklet and everything, and the cover is really good. The hard slip cover, I think, is really nice. A nice addition to it, so it's kind of cool. And then last but not least, we have the 4K edition of Ghost in the Shell, which actually did have the proper code to put it into 4K on things like Voodoo and everything, so I thought that was really nice. Then there you go, the Ghost in the Shell 4K right there. But yeah, I have that. Surprised again, didn't have a steelbook, but that doesn't matter as long as it works in the end. But anyway, though, guys, I just thought I'd take some time here and show you the Blu-rays and DVDs and 4Ks I have of anime. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like. Hopefully you guys have live-chatted during this premiere. What animes do you have in your collection? What formats? And I do apologize if I sound like I was rambling a little bit. Like I mentioned, I'm tired. It's late. Just wanted to get this out of the way though, so you guys can have something to watch today, because I'll have to edit this today. I'm not going to edit it right now on my computer, but it'll take too long. So I'll edit it tomorrow, let my computer rest. You know, while I'll edit it, what I'm trying to say is I'll edit it later today during the day, and I'll let the computer rest for the rest of the night while I sleep. But again, let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below. Live chat during the premiere if you're not already. Check out my Patreon at BW Roses. Check out BW Roses discussions on all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Check me out at BW Roses on Venmo, as well as check out my Venmo if you want to help donate to help financially continue this channel and continue the brand for me, as well as also check out the Teespring store, and you know, for merchandise there to check out if you're interested. So until next time guys, thank you all for watching, and I am out.